Hello, everyone. I hope you had a nice week. It was nice seeing everyone, even though some of you did not turn on your video, but it was still nice hearing your voice and got to uh, have a meeting with y'all on Zoom. Hopefully, y'all had fun too, and hopefully, y'all are caught up with the work. And because today we're going to get into something more exciting. So, let's share and start our lesson. All right. Today we'll talk about the following things: if then else, and we'll do an activity. Now, I'm sure everyone knows what if means and then means, and I'm sure everyone knows what else means, but this concept is very important in computer science, so we're going to have time to talk about this. Okay, if X, then Y. Well, so just look at this picture and just know how if is defined and then is defined. If contains condition and then contains action. And there's an arrow sign because why? There is cause and effect, right? So if X, then Y. So we call this conditional statement, okay? Conditional statement. So we have condition, which is X, and Y is the action. So the conditionals, which is Y in this case, it only runs in certain conditions. So if you look at the right side here, it's called a flow chart. So this simple statement can be written as or drawn as this flow chart. And not that you have to know this, but knowing this flow chart and how that works, how this can be interpreted, it's really beneficial for you in your future because um, it's used not only used in engineering but also computer science and other fields as well. But anyway, let's look at this as to make sure it makes sense. It says here there's an arrow, so there's an incoming arrow, and there's condition. So this condition is X. So if this condition is true, do the following things. So in this case, if condition is true, we follow this path, okay? And it says, if the condition is true, do the following conditional code. So this is what conditional is. In this case, the action is Y, okay? But of course, this condition may not be true. So there's a case, so this is true case, right? But what if it's not true? Then you go to another path, okay? So at the end, what happens? At the end, either way, you end up with the same point. But the difference is that if you go through true, you do this action. But if you go through the false, there's no action. Okay. So this is called conditional statement. Okay. All right, let's do an example. Let's say we are playing a game where players, or there are two players. Let's say there are two players, and they draw a card from standard deck of cards. Now, I'm sure a lot of people know what standard deck of card is, but we'll talk about what it is very soon. Okay, but anyway, the continuing and gets a point for drawing a red card. So that means whenever someone draws a red card, then the player gets a point. Okay, but just in case for the people who do not know what deck of card is, this is what deck of card looks like. Okay, so basically we have four different suits. We have clubs, we have spades, heart, diamond, and as you can see, these two suits are black and these two are red. So that means we have half of the cards that are black, half of the cards that are red. Now, as you can see here, for each suit, you have different types of cards. We have ace, and we have numerical values from 2 to 10. And we have here at the end Jack, Queen, King. We call this face cards. Okay. Now, you don't have to know all this, but just know that when we talk about standard deck of cards, we're talking about their total of 52 cards. Now, each suit has 13. Of course, you can count 1 through 10 is 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 13 for each suit. So that means there are 26 black cards and there are 26 red cards, right? I'm making this into like math class, but um, just in case you didn't know, here it is, all right? So let's get back to our question. So our question is this: if we're playing a game, each player draws a card, and if the person gets a red card, the player gets a point. So how we make this into if-then statement? Try it and then come back. All right. So if we were to make this into simple if-then statement, then it will be if the card is red, then the player receives a point. Now, this is too obvious, right? But yes, I mean, it should be obvious because what we're trying to do, we're trying to code something that is maybe too obvious, but yet we have to define it clearly so that the machine or computers can understand us. Okay, so you may think this is too obvious, but please bear with me because it's very important. Okay, all right. Now let's go to another thing. So let's make it more complicated. Okay, so we're gonna have if x, then y, else z. Now, last time, the difference between last time and here is that we have added the word else, right? So this is still conditional statement, right? So X is our condition, right? So here we have flow chart again. So we have incoming input, right? And here's the expression or condition. So in this case, this is X, right? So in this case, we have two possibilities, right? X could be true, right? Here we go. If it's true, it goes through this and it does action Y, right? Because it said if X, then do Y, right? But just in case the X is false, what happens? If it's false, well, last time we just went through it, didn't do anything, right? But now we're saying, you know what? If it's not true, then do an action called Z, right? At the end, we end up the same place, but depending on the condition of X, either the coding has executed Y or Z, okay? Now let's do an example. So we have similar game, right? So we have two players drawing cards from deck of standard deck of cards, and the player gets a point for drawing a red card. But if the player draws a black card, then the opponent gets a point. Got it? So in this case, how will we set up our if else statement? By the way, when we call this, we don't really call this if then else statement. We actually say if else statement because then is implied. Okay. So if card is red, what happens? Then the player receives the point. That hasn't changed, right? But now we're adding more information. Else, like what if not? What if it's not red? Else, the opponent receives a point. This might be too obvious, but there we go. That's how easy if else statement is. And it's one of the most important thing in programming. Moving on. Now, there are two exercises. I want you to read this. So pause the video and try to write out your own if then else statement. Maybe sometimes you don't have to write else depending on the case, but try this. Come back when you're done. All right, welcome back. This is the first solution. By the way, you may have different answer. So if it's not the same, it's okay. Okay. So for me, this is what I wrote. I said if the traffic light is green, then go. If yellow, then prepare to stop. If red, then stop. So in this case, instead of saying else, what I did was I just wrote out three separate if statements. Okay. Remember, you do not have to say if then statement. You can just say if statement. Okay. All right. Number two, this is what we did. So your friend is guessing a number, right? So if your friend's guess is equal to the answer, then you can say, hey, you're correct. But else, you can say you're incorrect. Okay. So this is called if else statement. Okay. All right. Now let me show you make app. Okay. Let me show you what we are going to be doing in Make App. So let's take your Make App out. And if you have your Make Kit, make sure you bring it out too. All right. So for now, let's go to learning. We've seen this many times, right? Curriculum, let's go there and design your own city and start. Your homework was up to do up to here. And I said, if you're not done with this for now, it's totally fine. But today, this week, we're going to complete this and I'll give you some tasks. So make sure you read through this if you haven't already. And well, actually, let's go back, right? Go back. So follow this direction. It shows you how to do it, right? So it shows you what to put in and then make sure you follow this wires. And remember, the colors don't really matter. And please try to, I mean, it doesn't really matter which column you put your LED light. Like you could have put this LED light somewhere here, like next to each other, next to this point. It's fine, but make sure your wires, like they correspond to the same row of the breadboard, okay? And number 10 means what? The number 10 means the positive one, which has the longer leg, goes into pin number 10. Okay. Now follow this. Follow this. What's going on here? What's going on here? It's okay. We got this. Follow this instruction and put the yellow and green LED light. Make sure all the wirings are fine and correct according to this, right? And afterwards, what you want to do is you want to use the blue cable and connect this to the blue cable, right? Once you're done, and connect the USB part. Make sure you have adapter, right? Adapter, and connect it to your mobile phone. And what you want to do is you go to the coding section and you want to code something like this, right? Oh, oops, it's okay. What happened? There we go. Now, you may not, or you may have something like this already printed out. If not, it's okay. It's right here for you to copy it if you want to, but you don't have to because it should be self-explanatory, okay? So for example, like what it says repeat, right? The reason why we have repeat here means repeat whatever's inside here 10 times, okay? So this code will execute whatever inside 10 times. Now let's read through the first one, okay? The first one says LED pin number 11, and it says turn on. Of course, you can turn off, but we're gonna turn on. Now, what's number 11? Well, let's go back here and see what's in number 11. Well, it turns out number 11 is green light. So if you go back to the code, now that means turn on the green light, okay? And what's next here? It says wait 4 seconds. Now you can adjust the time if you want to. You can say 2 seconds, okay? I'm gonna say 1 second, 1 second for now, okay? And then after 1 second, so what's next? It says LED pin 11 turn off. So that means, hey, the green light is on, but now after 1 second, turn it off. Now, after turning it off, simultaneously, you want to turn on number 9. Now, you can probably guess what number 9 is. Yes, it's yellow, okay? So turn on number 9 and wait for, I'm going to say 1 second, right? And then turn off and then turn on number 10, probably red, right? And I'm going to say number 1 here to wait for 1 second and then turn off. Now, as you can see, green on, green off, at the same time, yellow on. After 1 second, yellow off, at the same time, red on. And after 1 second, red off. But look at this. After this, do you see that this is within this repeat 10 times? So that means this will repeat how many times? 10 times. But for now, to show you this, I'm going to say 2 times, okay? Now, once you're done, what you want to do is you want to click upward here. There's the upload, and then make sure this is Arduino Uno, and then upload sketch file, and you'll see blinking, and then you should be able to see the code being executed using your device. But for now, I'm not going to show you this because I'm going to show you using simulator. So even if you don't have this purchased, it's okay. You can go back to the schematic here, and then do you see this button here, play simulation? So if you don't have the device, follow this along and then do the coding and then come back here and say, you know what, I'm going to play a simulation to make sure it works. Okay, so let's click simulation. Oh, you see that? Blink, 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 stop. Wait, why didn't you stop? I thought I said repeat only twice. Did it not say? Oh, I didn't save it. That's why. So stop simulation. Let's save it. Project has been saved. I said repeat twice. I thought I said repeat twice. Let's do one more time. 1, 2. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay. I guess it doesn't matter how many times I said repeat. Interesting. But the point here is you are able to see whether your code is actually working or not. Maybe this is because it's forever. It's okay. All right. So now, if you want to change it, for example, you want to, you know what? Let's say you want the green a little bit longer so that people can, cars can cross, and the yellow maybe 3 seconds, right? And maybe the red, maybe 5 seconds to be, to make sure, actually longer, 10 seconds. And I don't know, maybe you don't have to save it. Let's check. Let's test it out. You don't have to save it. Do you see that? It's a lot longer now. And then goes to yellow. And then goes to red. And this is going to be long. Okay. So what does that mean? It means you're able to test your code out using this. Right. Now, of course, if you look at this control, they're not too many. Okay. They're not too many. So I challenge you this. Okay. If you have this down, if you know what to do, if you can manipulate this in whatever you want, you can go to exit out, right? Exit out. So this is like your challenge, okay? And I suggest you do this. Go to project, right? And then do my project, add new project, title, traffic light version 2. I don't know. And say, okay. And you'll see a bunch more things here, okay? You'll see so many more things more than just repeat and wait. So what does that mean? Means you're able to do if then statement if you want to, okay? So I suggest you play with this around, okay? All right. So, but first, of course, try to complete the schematic using your Makekit and make sure your basic coding works, okay? Now, the third thing I want to try, if you haven't, is this learning coding world. Now, algorithm travel, I really suggest you try this, okay? I'll give you a demo, okay? Now, this is really fun, okay? Round number 1, welcome to travel of algorithm game. Please tap anywhere to proceed. Now, if you have blah, 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 okay, I'm not gonna read this. All right, so basically, you have a squirrel. You want to make sure that squirrel gets all the coins, okay? So this means forward, all right? There we go. So that means, hey, go forward, and this means take the coin if there is any. So let's play it. Forward, forward, and take the coin. Perfect. Now, well done. This is turning right, right? So look at this. This squirrel is here, then, and you want the coin, you want the squirrel to go to the coin. So let's count. You have to go forward, forward, forward 3 times, right? So that means, well, actually, you have to make sure that the squirrel turns around because the squirrel is facing this way. So squirrel, turn around, right? See? So let's play it. Ah, it turns around. Good. After this, you want to go 3 times forward. So click. Ooh, hold on, I'll repeat. So click, click, click. So what this does is turns around and go forward, forward, forward. Let's try it. Go forward, go forward, go forward. You're moving too slow. Let's make it fast. All right, now we're almost there. So what's next? Yes, your squirrel has to turn around again, right? So turn around. So let's check this. Move, 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 and turn around. Good. And then you have to go forward. How many more times? Twice, right? So repeat. Go forward, and when you're here, take the coin. So let's play it. Go forward, 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 turn around, and take the coin. Perfect. Now, I'm not going to show you in level 3, but you get the point, right? So follow the instruction and try to come up with a way to get all the coins using your command. So hopefully you find this really fun and enjoyable because it gets really challenging as you go through the chapters, okay, or the rounds, right? Have fun with this. And also, if you haven't done the tracing, please do so because it will be really fun, okay? So just to review, your homework is very simple. Complete Streetlight project. And if you're up for a challenge, go to new project and try to incorporate if-then statements into your traffic light so it can be more fun, okay? And third one is, if you're up for the challenge, do the algorithm games in your app because it's really fun and challenging, right? Okay, thank you everyone. I really hope you all have a nice week. And next time we meet, bring some more questions so we can talk about them, okay? All right, bye-bye.